welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at your energy via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it. I apologize. I'm a little congested today. It's been a little up and down. We just officially moved into Virgo season. Things are evening out. They're balancing out. Virgo energy is earth energy. It gives us the opportunity to just find a little more balance, restoration. Virgo energy focuses on health, well-being, mind, body, soul, alignment, healing, connection, etc. So we have a really strong and profitable foundation to work from. Leo energy, the season we came from previously, really helps us to connect with our empowerment. And then Virgo helps us to kind of like figure out like, okay, this is what I want to do with that empowerment and how can I lay a strong foundation in order to do that. So we're rebalancing, we're settling, I would say, after Leo season. We're finding ways to just be a little bit more in touch with ourselves, our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, especially as it relates to people, situations that we're interacting with, things that are being highlighted where changes are definitely being made, and we need to figure out how we're going to react, respond accordingly. All that stuff can be really challenging. But there's not a lot going on this week astrologically. If anything, I'm seeing this as an enlivenment of the earth energy. And therefore, like I said, finding a little bit more balance and harmony within self before we actually set out to make those partnerships, connect with those people, situations that are actually going to be harmonious collaborations. That's also why I like to start off the readings with an energy cleansing, just to set the tone, set the vibe for the reading. Cleanse out those places where we might feel blocked or limited. It's a great time to set your own intention as well for the reading, especially if you've come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It's a really great way to personalize these collective readings. I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are interested in more of a realignment of self, your mind, body, soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we're grounded in self, like I was talking about with that Virgo energy, when we know who we are, what we want, how we need those things to play out for our highest and best, that's really where we connect with manifesting our abundance, our potential, and our fulfillment as well. We all deserve to be happy and fulfilled in this life, and I would love to help support in whatever way possible. Definitely give me, a shout out. I would love to connect. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. Ooh, and we're on fire. All right. With that, collective, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so that we may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. All right, so I feel this energy of like trying to get through something pretty quickly. And I feel like we've definitely had a lot of messages lately around slowing down. This week definitely feels like one of those energies. We did come off of a new moon in Virgo on Saturday. And now we're in this place of like getting acclimated to Virgo season. So new moons give us the opportunity to really evaluate like where things are at in our life and say, okay, I need to make this adjustment, or I need to set this plan in action, or do this a little bit differently in order to kind of garner the results that I'm looking for. And definitely with the overarching energy as messages of guidance, it looks like Spirit's really coming into direct you, in a way that like I think does require some amount of surrender, recognizing that you don't know all the things or have all the tools quite yet at your disposal. Maybe that's like a little extreme, but what I'm trying to get at is there's this level of like ambiguity, kind of like trying to figure things out. And I feel like Spirit is really asking you to take your time, right? Like things are working out in your favor. We're coming from a place of abundance, or we have a certain level of abundance at the beginning of the week. And so what I've been seeing a lot in the astrology lately is like believing in yourself, right? Like we have to believe that we can have a certain level of abundance in order to achieve it. It's that vibe of aligning our energy, aligning our vibration, being that, like embodying that which we desire to draw into our life, right? Like be the change you wish to see. I know it's a little cliche, but actually it holds a lot of value. And I think especially for where you're sitting right now, because we've been getting this message a lot as I've been doing the zodiac readings. There's this element of needing to really recognize where your abundance is playing out, where it has come into play to date. I feel like because we're not exactly where we want to be, or we're not seeing the exact results, or maybe we're waiting on something to come in and it just hasn't panned out yet, there still is this belief that like we don't have what we want, or we're not going to get it, or it's not in alignment with us. I feel like in this waiting game in the collective, we've been seeing a lot of things where it is kind of challenging us. It's challenging us to like that value of, do we believe we can have it? I feel like there's this level of like commitment, right? Commitment to the process. Because you are a little bit at a standstill this week. That's what it looks like. You're almost waiting for next information. What are your next steps? And that's where this message of guidance comes in. But it also looks like you're having to detach your energy in order to understand a little bit more clearly that like, it's not about you. This might be something that you've just internalized for all these years, as though it's like your fault, your responsibility. It's something you have to fix. And maybe in fact it's not, right? Like I feel like you probably had to sort yourself out a little bit, make some changes to feel like you were better in alignment with your abundance, or with your own empowerment, or like whatever it is that makes you feel solid and grounded and safe in your day-to-day living. And this was good for you. With the star, I love the star energy. It's talking about healing, growth, evolution. The star is also ruled by Aquarius. Pluto just moved into Aquarius. We're in the age of Aquarius, right? So there's a lot of things that like, as we do align with ourselves, meaning like we're making choices, decisions that honor our livelihood, our passions, the things that draw in our desires, our abundance, etc. As we honor those things, we're finding abundance, right? Like it's not only like abundance within self 100%, but it's also like abundance in the way that you're being honored for the steps that you are taking. Or you have been taking. And I don't think a lot of this is very apparent on the surface right yet. Because we have Four of Wands in your blocked energy beginning of the week. Four of Wands is home, family life, that sense of stability. I'm not saying home and family often feel stable. For some of us, that might not be the safest place, right? But at the same time, it's this idea of how we can cultivate that sense of stability. So we are aligning with our abundance. So we are aligning with our empowerment. And it looks like whatever direction you're moving in beginning of the week is really challenging you to grow beyond, evolve past some of the limitations, and you're doing it. Like, to me, it looks like you've learned some lessons. You're approaching whatever you're coming into contact with a level of wisdom, strength, abundance. Even though maybe not everything is in its working order or as you want it to be, you're still kind of like acting as if, right? Okay. You're overwhelmed with the connection. You're like, sorry. I'm trying to say sorry. I was trying to read it. I'm like, okay, hey. Oh, hey. Okay, hey, Bloomer Nana. Yeah, well, we can totally talk about this if you want to talk about like what connection this is in your life. This could even be part of this Four of Wands that you're picking up, right? This value of like, what should feel stable and supportive is not. And that's not always easy, right? Like, because so much of what we're doing right now is this value of realigning, right? It's realigning with those places that we are feeling or that like we need to see our abundance. And remember, this is kind of our central message this week. It is not me. So even when we are feeling like that value of feeling overwhelmed with certain connections, it's because our emotional guidance system is trying to tell us something, right? It's trying to tell us something that something is off. And often when we are overwhelmed, we need to kind of pump the brakes and take a step back, especially finding this balance, finding this harmony, not pressuring ourselves to find a solution, but allowing our physiology, mind, body, soul to rest. When we rest, when we restore, that's where we're able to sink into that level of awareness. And that's really what we're looking to connect with right now. 100%, Knight of Swords and this spiritual seeker card. Making plans of action to kind of connect with that value of like, again, our abundance. I don't mean to be overly redundant, but it's like, again, when we're kind of taking that step back and we're being a little easier on ourselves and we're not getting so worried about like fixing something that maybe can't be fixed. Again, like why we're feeling that element of overwhelm or like something's not working out exactly how we wanted it to. Healing some of those places in our heart that are a little bit broken. I feel like some of that overwhelm is definitely connecting to this Three of Swords energy, right? We've been seeing this a lot right now too. As there's not a lot going on in the transits and the astrology, we have a little bit of downtime. We're in Virgo season. So like take care of yourself, rest, restore. Remember, it's needed because like in those spaces where we have peace, stillness, quietness, that's where we recognize I'm taking on responsibility that's not even mine to take on, right? And middle of the week, we're seeing a little more tension arise, especially when it comes to our emotions and even things that we love, that we're connecting with this Venus energy. Venus is square to Chiron as well as to the fortune point. So Venus can get a little apathetic. It's like, man, I don't really want to do that. That seems a little too hard or too uncomfortable. And especially with those tense aspects to the moon, it's really just confirming that a decision needs to be made. And oftentimes when we find ourselves entrapped in the emotional world, we have to just have this clear-cut decision. We're either going to choose this or this. And oftentimes emotions can make it seem like it's way worse than what it actually is, right? But in reality, when we take that step back and have the bird's eye perspective and say, okay, like, part of what you're not doing is taking time to listen to yourself, taking time to take a step back. For some of us, it's going to be like getting too much involved into this dynamic of like always being blamed, always taking responsibility for what is not yours. And that's where taking a time out can really come to bite you in the butt, right? And remember, overarching energy this week is messages of guidance. So we really want to connect with this value of understanding what our next steps are. And in order to do that, we need to kind of cancel out the noise, because there is some level of abundance that's really working out for us, that's like playing out in our favor. Yeah, again, we're seeing this Three of Swords energy pop up where maybe we need to take a little bit more of a break, being able to diffuse some of the responsibility, see those places where it really isn't about you. You know, and I think sometimes that's like the hardest thing to do, especially when we're in relationships, in dynamics that are constantly either like blaming us, pointing the finger at us, etc. It's not easy at all. But what we're here to do right now is highlight those places that like teamwork. It's all about teamwork. Three of Pentacles. What is actually making the flow move? You know, what is not even what's making it move, but like what is working the most harmoniously with you. And again, it's what is required is taking that step back, seeing things from that bird's eye perspective, but also like making a decision. I think it's so easy right now to get caught up in the emotional, the shoulda, woulda, coulda, especially as we saw midweek, where we have a lot of tension surrounding things that we love, things that like we don't necessarily want to let go of, or we want it to grow and evolve and nurture, but it's just not. Chiron is the wound healer. So when people refuse to heal, when they refuse to work together, to grow, to evolve, well, that's like our indicator right there. And I know that's bleak. I know it's not easy as just being able to recognize that and then making decisions accordingly, because oftentimes it comes with a heavy weight. It comes with sadness. It comes with grief. It comes with pain. And there is this level of autonomy that you need to be willing or open to accepting. But this is part of like the process of that healing. And I don't mean to make it all about healing, but when I'm talking about healing, I'm talking about growth and evolution. What's allowing us to expand and grow beyond those limitations. And when we're not really acknowledging where the pain, the sadness is coming from, we end up shoving it down, and then it will rear its beautiful head down the line, unfortunately, when we don't really want it to, right? So the weeks have had this type of roller coaster vibe where like midweek, it's a little more aggressive, it's a little more intense. We learn our lessons, and then end of the week, we're able to see things a little bit more clearly, easily, etc. Especially with you coming in as the Ten of Swords energy. I like this energy for you because it's talking about like whatever is provoking you, even if it is a little bit triggering or it's kind of making you do, you know, the dip and the wave of all the emotions, it's not getting you down. You're able to pull yourself out of it. And in a way where, like, even when you're looking at the sadness and pain, it looks like you're not turning a blind eye, but you're able to accept it more for what it is. You're finding peace and harmony. I think this is starting within, and then it will be reflected without. I feel like maybe you don't have a lot of people that you can enjoy this with presently, but I also feel like the 3 of Cups in your blocked energy is a promise of what the future is bringing. I feel like a lot of what you are dealing with this week is releasing some of the old patterns, the old burdens, the old behavior. Tower. The Tower came out for us a little bit today too in the readings. Well, okay, and this makes a lot of sense too as we're purging the old stuff, right? Because there is this energy of like, whatever this downtime is, it's giving us an opportunity to set a strong foundation and to kind of like rest and restore. Because it does look like there is some conflict that's coming into play on the horizon. And I feel like this is definitely connected with whatever is weighing you down, whatever is feeling like overwhelming. All right, 4 of Swords, 3 of Wands. Yeah, you're just waiting on it. You're waiting on something that you're really sensing, that you're really feeling intuitively. And I feel like this is wrapping up a cycle. I feel like this is kind of where Spirit is guiding you and directing you towards, even if we want to go back to just that value of feeling overwhelmed. Again, it might not feel comfortable in those moments, but it becomes that guiding force of saying like, do you really want to keep putting yourself through this? And sometimes it's not a clear-cut answer. So always give whatever commitments you have the respect to take your time, evaluate. You are the best judge, obviously, in your own situation. These are collective readings, so keep that in mind. But basically what this is saying is with this Knight of Swords, burden of tears, there have been some limitations, or there's been some areas where you've kind of let the things of the past overwhelm and consume. And we've kind of been seeing this theme a lot in the collective, where we need to kind of take our time or really understand what we're learning on that deeper level, so we're not pushing through it or we're not missing out on something. With this 2 of Wands, not everything is going to be in its neat, tidy package right now, and I think that that's kind of the hard thing. We're waiting for clean-cut cycle endings. Okay, this is done and over with. Now I'm on to the next thing. But there's been this weird energy of lingering, or even if you do think you have something completely done and over with, it resurfaces. That's definitely been happening a lot in the retrogrades. Mercury retrograde was all about our partnerships, relationships, with giving the opportunity to kind of find more harmony and balance. But again, if people are not willing to do it, which is what we're seeing a lot right now, we're seeing people in situations coming out of the woodwork that maybe aren't really ready for the type of collaboration or connection that you're asking them for. And that might be difficult because it either means we need to put a pin in it or go back to the drawing board or look at our other options that are in front of us. All right, so let's close this out. I love this. I am ready to grow. I know that every dream in my heart is waiting to bloom. Wherever we're at, no matter who we are, what our walk of life is, there's always, the nature of life is to grow and evolve. That's what Maharishi Mahesh says. And it's this value of just recognizing that it doesn't really matter like where we're at or where we're coming from or what we think we can do, what we can achieve. We often surprise ourselves when we have tenacity, when we have conviction of heart, of spirit, and we allow nature to take its course, allowing us to grow and evolve and be better versions of ourselves. I am right here. I know that I must stay in the present moment to enjoy the journey. I think that's so true too. sometimes I wonder if on this channel I get a little too forward thinking, right? We need to be present. That's really where a lot of magic happens. That's where we find the enjoyment, the love, the connection of life. And we don't necessarily want to be missing out on that either when we're always kind of thinking towards the future. Yeah, it's important to grow and evolve, but it's also important to be present. To be present so that we're like experiencing the beauty of what we've created in this moment. You know, it's that value of having gratitude. When we have gratitude for where we're at, then we're actually attracting more abundance, more success, more positivity. I am true to myself. I know that pure joy is the result of being in alignment with my soul. I love this. The cards never lie. I couldn't have said it any better. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. It looks like it's going to be a good week. There's not a lot of ups and downs, not a lot of mountains and valleys, thankfully. We are still kind of getting re-regulated, so definitely take care of yourself, Virgo season. It's all about supporting your mind-body connection. I'm seeing this as like you releasing, letting go, moving through, processing through some of the past stuff, especially areas that maybe you've taken on responsibility for things that are just like have nothing to do with you. And shedding a light on that, not being afraid to. It doesn't mean you have to air your dirty laundry in front of everybody else, you know, but actually give yourself the opportunity to process through and to heal and grow so that those pains, those sadnesses, those griefs are not blocking you from moving forward in a more empowered way. All right. Thank you so much for your time, energy. Always good luck this week. I hope you have a fabulous week. Definitely tune in for the zodiac readings. I super appreciate all your love, support to the channel. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I'd love to hear, or just say, hey, share, and a little love, a little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. No, it blesses my heart, and I'm sending the love and blessings back to you. No worries, sending all the love. Thanks for tuning in always. I appreciate you. Have a fabulous evening.